One of the best-known global broadcasters, the BBC World Service, has applied for a grant from the US State Department. The company claims it needs the funding to develop anti-jamming technology in countries with repressive regimes. But as Laura Emmett reports, the deal may be a ploy which could benefit America's foreign agenda.
How does all this end?
20 years of BBC World News. Never stop asking.
They might well be asking, but who's answering? Viewers of the BBC's World Service might be surprised to learn that from May it could be the US State Department. In what's being called the first deal of its kind, the American government will fund the World Service.
The cuts in the BBC budget are so draconian that they're looking for money any place they can get it, and I'm sure the State Department was aware of this. So I think what you can interpret from this is that the United States feels comfortable with the political line and the interpretation of world events that are coming from the BBC.
Talk to me about that last day.
The World Service says it'll use the money to prevent its programmes being blocked in countries like Iran and China. But there's a worry that cash from the US government will come with strings attached.
The minute you actually start taking money, there's bound to be a certain element of he who pays the piper calls the tune. So it's a very strange arrangement, and I would worry that the more complicated we make BBC World Service, actually the less pure its message can be.
This won't be the first time the BBC has accepted money from organisations with their own agenda. In 2008, the corporation faced accusations of pro-Europe bias after it was revealed it had taken out $230 million in loans from the EU. The loans were given by the European Investment Bank, one of whose goals is promoting EU policies. MEP Gerard Batten has a long-running beef with the BBC.
It's institutionally, politically biased, certainly in favour of things like the European Union, mass immigration and a whole other host of kind of politically correct ideas that I think it peddles to the public.
Batten says taking this money would expose hypocrisy at the heart of the BBC.
The EU bans sponsorship of any news and current affairs TV programmes across the EU. Now, that would appear then that if the US State Department is going to fund BBC, that would appear to be in breach of the directive.
The deal with the US State Department will be formally announced on International Press Freedom Day at the beginning of May, something its detractors will find deeply ironic.
It's the worldwide reach of the BBC that's made the US State Department decide it's worth investing in. But that in turn muddies the waters in terms of what the World Service is. Is it a news broadcaster to countries that don't have reliable news, or is it now a propaganda tool for US and UK foreign and defence policy? Laura Emmett, RT, London.